Hey gang, welcome to the Todd Nauck Show. I'm Todd Nauck, and I've got another Periscope broadcast coming at you. It's pardon me, I'm getting a handful of these done pretty quickly. So no, I've been on a long break in between Periscope broadcasts, and now here I am doing like one a week now. It's crazy. I'm going to spoil you guys. So thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks for joining me. And today I'm drawing the Hobgoblin. Now, why am I drawing the Hobgoblin? If you're new to my channel or my social networks, I run a contest on Twitter every time I'm at a convention, where I upload my convention commission illustrations I do for people at any given convention. I upload those to my Twitter, and I have a sketch retweet contest, and people are invited to retweet my commission sketches for that specific weekend. At the end of the weekend, when I get home from the convention, one randomly chosen retweeter receives a free head sketch prize of a character of their choice, and then I pay to ship it out to them and everything. Well, from the Emerald City Comic Con, the winner asked for a Hobgoblin, and that con was like 2-3 weeks ago. I've been so swamped with deadlines, I finally got a break that I can finally draw this person's prize, so I've invited you guys to come and watch me as I draw, and I'll do my best to answer any questions you post. I'm not able to answer every question, oftentimes because I'm not able to see them. Sometimes it's just because certain topics are too difficult to talk about while drawing. It requires too much brain power. So I got to be careful on which ones I pick to answer. So just so I don't leave as rambling of an answer as I usually do. So if you ever want to try to win one of my pieces, join me on Twitter. All the rules to my sketch retweet contest are on toddnauck.com, and I have posted a link to those in my tweets for that given weekend. And you don't have to attend the convention to participate, to try to win one of my sketch prizes for my sketch retweet contest. All you have to do is just tune into my Twitter account. I do anywhere from 8 to, I think this year I'm doing 13 cons. But I've already done 4 of them, so four contests are done. But that's still another 9 opportunities to maybe win a commission sketch or win a free head sketch. So be sure to follow me. And sometimes I run contests on my Instagram, so stay tuned to that social network as well. So enough talking, enough news up front. Let's get to drawing, and I'll plug into the rig right now. Got my Hobgoblin reference up to make sure I get accuracy of the costume. All right, let's see. I think I need to flip this around. Be sure to turn your devices sideways to get the full screen access. Tap screen for focus. And we're back. All right. Was that Amigo Spider-Man? Yes, that was a 1970s Amigo Spider-Man on my shelf back behind me there. You are absolutely correct. Yes. Used to have one when I was a kid, got sold in a garage sale, and then my sister found one and got it for me to replace it. So, yeah, that is definitely a Amigo Spider-Man. Good catch. So if you're just tuning into my show, I'm drawing the Hobgoblin from Spider-Man. It is a sketch prize for the winner of my Emerald City Comic Con sketch retweet contest. And if you just tuned in and you don't know what my sketch retweet contests are, swing by toddnauck.com. Second post down explains how my sketch retweet contest goes. My next contest is in a couple of weeks when I'm at Wizard World Des Moines. So I'll be posting info on that specific contest in the coming weeks. It's great seeing you at Emerald City Comic Con as well. Have I ever had to do a charcoal lift? I don't think I've ever had to do a charcoal lift, but I did do charcoal illustrations in my life drawing classes back at the Art Institute, so I have worked with charcoal, but I don't think I've ever done a charcoal lift. Oh, you tried to get me invited to Wizard World Minnesota. I appreciate that. They actually extended the invitation to Des Moines because Peter David will be there, and they wanted the Young Justice creative team together for for their con, to have both original Young Justice creators at one con. So that's what made my invite to Des Moines so specific. As like a chance to spend the weekend with Peter David, I'm in. Sorry, Christo Fuzz, I won't be able to draw that for a broadcast. Philadelphia, no plans to be at Philadelphia at this time. But I'd love to come out to Philadelphia. How do I decide the color for a background? Great question. Oftentimes I use black, just black to make the character pop. A black background is very stark and can really bring nice pop to the illustration. So sometimes that's my default color choice. But other times I pick colors that complement the character. So there's a little bit of color theory that comes into play there, I guess. But if I do want to use like a gray background, then if it's a character that's mostly cool colors like blues, greens, purples, I'll use a warm shade of gray. And then if it's warm colors, conversely, like reds, oranges, yellows, then I'll use a cool gray to contrast the colors of the character in the contrast the background from the colors that are in the character. Am I drawing with a picture or just memory? I'm doing my illustration here. This is coming out of my head, but I am using Google reference to make sure I get the details of the Hobgoblin's costume correct. So there is reference. Now I'm not drawing what I'm seeing, but I am using reference to make sure I get the right costume details. And I often will reference a character I don't draw frequently to make sure I get the costume details correct, because I don't have every character memorized. Who are my artistic influences? I grew up as an 80s X-Men fan as a kid, so my initial influences are X-Men artists from the 1980s. So Walter Simonson, Arthur Adams, Rick Leonardi, and Alan Davis. As well as artists like Mike Zeck from Secret Wars, the first comic books I collected as a kid, Mark Silvestri, and Brett Blevins from New Mutants. Oh, and John Bogdanov from Power Pack and Exterminators. Those are some of my earliest influences as a kid. What paper do I do my comic book pages on? Bristol board. I used 11 by 17 Bristol board. You can kind of see Batman and the Joker in this drawing. Right on, yeah. When it's still in the early stages, your brain can see a lot of different things until the details start to flesh out. It can go any sort of way. How do I pick my camera angles? Oh, that's one of those heavier questions. Those are the ones that require a lot of brain power to answer. I mean, it all depends on the story. It depends on what the story is calling for, and what would make an interesting shot. So study movies. Watch a movie and then pause it. Pause the movie and look at the camera angles. And study how the cinematographer, easy for me to say, or director, chose the camera angles for that shot, and study what they've done, because drawing comics in panels is very similar to storyboarding in many ways. Am I going to use Copic markers? Yes, I am. This will be a Copic color illustration, and if all goes well, we should be able to complete the whole thing in this one broadcast. Do I ever use ink wash? Nah, not really. I haven't really got into doing ink washes. I'd like to. I've only done like one, I think. But I'd like to play with that some more. I love trying new things. I've done pencil sketch washes. Will I ever draw comics digitally or always stick to digital? I think you might mean always stick to traditional. Actually, I want to try drawing comics digitally and see what I can learn there. And so I'd like to at least try to do a marriage of the two, where I do some parts digitally and then some parts traditionally, like the inking stage. I just need to find time to go test out some hardware and see what it's like drawing digitally on different types of devices to see which one I would want to get. All right, so I think I've roughed in the pencils as much as I need to here. I want to make sure I get everything the way I need it. Now this is looks like a pretty sketchy mess, but when I hone this in, it'll come out well. Do Copics work well with Bristol board? They worked well for me. They've worked very well for me. In fact, I pretty much use Copics exclusively on Bristol boards or sketch covers, which a good sketch cover cover stock will be very similar to Bristol boards. So, yep, Bristol boards my go-to paper when it comes to drawing just about anything. Okay, let's start dropping in some ink lines here. So I'm starting off with a Copic multiliner, the 08. It's a really thick pen tip, so I can get some good contours on the initial structure lines here on Hobgoblin. Mainly for the cowl and some of the main parts, contours of the face, but I won't use such a thick marker or thick pen for the details of the face. I want to keep those kind of thin so I can get more texture. So I want to say thanks for inviting followers. Thanks for all the hearts, gang. Really appreciate it. And thanks for all the comments and questions. Sorry I can't catch them all, but please do feel free to continue to post if you'd like. And hopefully I'll catch some more of your questions as I go here. Why Hobgoblin? Oh, you must have just tuned in. Welcome to the broadcast. Hobgoblin is a sketch prize from the winner for the winner of my Emerald City Comic Con sketch retweet contest, and you can visit toddnauck.com to learn more about my sketch retweet contests. I have another contest coming up in a couple of weeks for Wizard World Des Moines, and it's a chance for someone to win a free head sketch of a character of their choice. So that's why I'm drawing Hobgoblin tonight. It's to fulfill this person's prize, which has been long overdue. Am I attending any cons in August? I don't think I will be. Right now, August is my month off. I've got a lot of cons coming through May through July. My big trip to London Comic Con and London Film and Comic Con in late July, right after San Diego. So I'm going to be pretty wiped out doing 2 major cons back to back. One of those being international, San Diego, and then flying out for London. That's going to be exhausting. So I haven't booked any August cons because I have to get caught up on deadlines, and I'll probably need just a chance to rest. So no cons planned for August at this time, but that could change. I hope to be at a con in New York. That's one of my favorite cons, is New York Comic Con. I've been to every one since they started back in 2006. They started back up, I should say. So it'll be my 11th New York Comic Con if I'm able to make it. So stay tuned for news on that. Who's behind the mask of the Hobgoblin? Great question. Read the book, as they used to say on those Time Life Mysteries of the Unknown books. Do y'all remember those? Some of y'all might be too young to remember those Time Life books, and they had the Mysteries of the Unknown, which was all like, is Sasquatch real? Are the pyramids an ancient landing port for ancient aliens? Read the book. Do twins share a psychic bond? Read the book. So, making a late 80s, early 90s reference joke there, where probably most of my audience wasn't born until mid 90s to early 2000s. But I'm glad y'all are here, and I can educate you on random pop culture of the 1980s and 90s. It's my service to you guys, so that you can watch episodes of Psych and understand what they're talking about. Oh, thanks for buying my sketchbook red. Appreciate that. Probably be selling out of those here in the next couple of months, and hopefully I'll have sketchbook black ready for sale this summer. My newest volume. The more we know. Yes, there's a star going over your head there, Spider-Man 826. NBC style. Where can you buy my sketchbook? You can buy it from toddnauck.com. I have U.S., Canadian, and international shipping options there on the right-hand side of my webpage, toddnauck.com. And every sketchbook is sent autographed. No extra charge for the autograph. I autograph every sketchbook that I mail out to those that purchase them. Or you can pick them up at a con while supplies last. Oh, thank you. Thank you for the kind words. Glad y'all like what I'm doing here. A character like Hobgoblin is fun because he's got such a crazy face. Hobgoblin, Greek Goblin, Joker, Venom, they're going to have really fun, monstrous faces or exaggerated faces that really let you kind of play around with it. Right on. Thank you, Michael Bain, for the compliment. Am I going to go check out some Doctor Who landmarks while I'm in London? Excellent question, and yes, I am. I've already discussed that with my wife. I plan to have a Doctor Who day where I go and explore London for Doctor Who landmarks. And I probably will do that in cosplay so I can take photos as the Doctor at these landmarks. So, and maybe I'll post some of those to my Twitter and Instagram that day, if I have the data bandwidth for it there internationally. But yes, excellent question. Something I'm very excited to do while I'm in London. Whatever draw Jon Snow from Game of Thrones for a future broadcast? It's possible, probably not as likely, because I don't watch Game of Thrones, so I don't really know who Jon Snow is. But it's not unheard of. I have drawn Daenerys as a convention commission at a convention, so I have drawn a Game of Thrones character, but I don't watch the show. In fact, the person who commissioned Daenerys, I don't even know if I'm saying her name right. Daenerys, actually that's a unit of money from biblical times. Or is that a denarius? Plural is denarii. I don't know. Why am I talking about this? Game of Thrones. Yeah, I don't know. Can you commission a sketch for me if you don't go to a con? I do studio commissions, but my wait list is really long because of work deadlines. So I've switched to the Micron 08. Also 08 like the Copic 08, but it is a little smaller. The Pigma Micron 08 is a little smaller of a pen size than the Copic one. But it gives me and this one's well broken in, so I'm able to get a nice thin line out of it, or a thick line if I need. So yeah, you can get on my studio commission list by emailing me at mail@wildguard.com. That email address is also on the About page of toddnauck.com. toddnauck.com/about. Don't post a comment. That won't get to me as easily. If you want to secure your place in line, email me, mail@wildguard.com. So, but that, since I got to focus on my work deadlines and other projects and convention travel, it takes right now the wait list is about 3 years for a studio commission. And my studio prices are different than my convention prices because you're getting uninterrupted studio time as opposed to crazy hectic convention time. So you're going to pay a little bit more for a studio commission. Can I draw styles from Team Wolf? Wow, that is a very random suggestion. I appreciate that. I appreciate the randomness of it. There's always a possibility, though I cannot make any promises. Why would you suggest styles from Teen Wolf? I'm just curious. I mean, because that movie is so old and that character is so obscure, unless they have styles on the current Teen Wolf series. I think there's a Teen Wolf TV series. On top of the van, of course, van surfing. Not now. That I cannot condone. Please do not try that at home. Please do not try van surfing, or car surfing, or surfing on any roof of any vehicle at home. Do not do that. The more you know. Doom, 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 doom. Do I still keep track of my con sketches direct on a piece of paper? No, I don't need to now because I take a photo of every con sketch. So I have a photo documentation of every con sketch that I do, or at least most everyone. Generally, I get every con sketch photographed. Can I draw a Kitty Pryde Booster Gold team up? Maybe someday. That would be a fun illustration to do. Two of my all-time favorite characters. How did I start drawing? Earliest memories were of drawing. I've always drawn as a little kid. It's just something that was innate in me. And I just continued to study and practice, and as I got older, taking art classes in school, using my electives for art, went to the Art Institute, and then a lot of personal self-study as well to enhance my skills and learn new things and do better things. Oh, you got the Archangel post I drew as a birthday present. Right on. I remember that. Good to hear from you. Welcome. I think it was your wife or your girlfriend that got that for you. I remember her emailing about that and purchasing it for your birthday. Glad you're here. I should do a Spider-Man and Punisher mashup. That would be interesting. How long will this drawing take, do I think? I don't know. We're almost done with the inks, and it's barely half an hour, so maybe if I'm lucky I can get this done within an hour. But there's no guarantee there. But just a rough estimate, I would say. What kind of practice do I recommend? Life drawing type practice, study from real life, draw from real life whenever possible. It's difficult, it's challenging, but that's what's so important about it, is to face those challenging areas. those challenging things. Do gesture drawings, quick little thumbnail sketches. When I say thumbnail, it's like a little teeny tiny sketch. And practice your perspective and drawing backgrounds. And practice laying out storytelling pages if you want to be a comic book artist. You can get a comic book of and retell the story from that comic your way. And I advise people to get a comic book you don't usually read. Don't pick a comic book of an artist that you're a fan of. Pick a different artist, maybe one that you're not as familiar with, so that the artist that you really like and admire and inspires you doesn't influence your storytelling, but you're able to try to do something new or something different. If you need ideas for a multi-page storytelling sequence. Or just write your own. That's what I did when I was trying to break in. I was practicing my storytelling. I just made up my own scenes of my own characters. Are Spidey's webs a pain in the butt to draw monthly? Actually, they're not. I thought they would be, but once you learn the pattern, it's actually really fun. It's like the icing on the cake. It's almost relaxing to do, for me, personally. Any tips for drawing buildings? Learn perspective and you draw from real photos. Reference real buildings. Don't just draw a rectangle and then put small rectangles in it for windows. Really study how a building is designed and put together, and then translate that visually. Buildings have very unique shapes. They are oftentimes a work of art as well. So treat them as such, and it'll make drawing backgrounds and buildings a lot more interesting. So like if you're drawing a Spider-Man scene, reference New York City buildings and look at the different types of buildings. Skyscrapers, buildings from different boroughs, and get a feel for the different types of buildings and the different sizes to help make your buildings more accurate. Am I going to be at the Vegas Con in June? No, I will not. I will not be at Vegas Con in June. In June, I will be at Phoenix Comic Con in early June, and I'll be making my first appearance at the Denver Comic Con later that month, like about 2.5 weeks later. But no plans to be at Vegas at this time. But maybe one day I'll make it to a Vegas Con. Carnage or Venom? I personally prefer Venom. I'm old school like that. I like the original. Carnage is a crazy villain. You know, he is pretty much a psycho. But classic Eddie Brock Venom, that holds a lot of nostalgia for me. I've had a number of my friends writing the current Venom miniseries, like Zeb Wells and Kevin Chinook. Great guys, great writers. Who have written Carnage. If I said Venom, I meant to say the Carnage. They write the different Carnage miniseries over the past many years. I think my friend Kevin Chinook wrote a Hobgoblin miniseries during, I want to say during Civil War or one of the big Marvel crossovers. It's hard to remember who did what. There's so many comics out there and so many friends doing different books. All starts to blur together a little bit. Have I checked out the new X-Men 92 series? I have not had a chance to really check that out yet. I've seen the covers. I think David Nakayama has done... Nakayama? has done excellent covers for the series, so I can definitely say the cover art is really cool. Can I do a broadcast of TMT? Maybe someday. Maybe someday I can do a broadcast where I draw the Ninja Turtles. Something I'll keep in mind. When I do a commission, how do I decide on what pose to use? It depends on the character, and I want to try to capture their personality. So if it's Spider-Man, I'm going to probably have him creeping or crawling or swinging or shooting a web line. If it's Wolverine, he's going to be hunkered down with claws popped. If it's like the Flash, I'm going to be in a put him in a running pose. If it's Kitty Pryde, I'll probably have her phasing through a wall, you know, kind of skulking about. So it all really depends on the personality of the character that informs my decision on the pose. So keep that in mind for your illustrations. Think of who is this character? What are their powers? How do their powers affect their body language? Like Spider-Man, he's going to be creepy crawly more often than not. You don't often have Spider-Man standing up in a Captain America type pose. It's not to say that you can't, or that you don't, or that I don't, or an artist doesn't. It's just more often you're going to try to capture the spirit of the character. All right, do we see pupils on Hobgoblin's eyes? I can't remember here. Like little tiny pupils. I gotta pull up my reference again. This classic one is, no, it's like all red. Let's find the old source book image. Where'd they go? There it is. Yep, no pupils. Okay, so now we're gonna... Will I ever draw another actual person? Sometimes I draw actual people. I've drawn Doctor Who characters and Star Wars characters who are, you know, based on actual people. At conventions, it's pretty limited whether I draw actual people's likenesses, because that can be very time-consuming trying to capture a person's likeness if I'm not familiar with drawing that person. So I want to try to accommodate as many commission requests as possible. So I now have been declining actual person likeness commissions at conventions. So there we go. There's the inked art. A lot of fun inking a character like this. So next up, time for the Copic color. Thanks for hanging out with me, gang. Appreciate y'all hanging out. Thanks again for all the likes. Thanks for the comments. Thanks for all the support on the social media, either inviting people to come watch or things like that. So I just want to say continued thanks. You guys are awesome. You guys and gals are all awesome. So glad you're here. Let's start dropping in some Copic color. And if you're watching on YouTube, when this goes up to YouTube, thanks for tuning in on YouTube. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for the thumbs up and the comments as well. Significant names for superheroes? I'm not sure if I understand your question. I'd probably say a significant name for superheroes is Captain Something or Something Man. How do I determine where to add lines in the shadows or cross-hatching? I want to consider the direction of the muscles and where the light source is coming from. So underneath the chin here, I'm going to have these shadows, and it's going to be shadows from the cloak. And then I'm going to do the striations in the direction of the muscle, so it gives shape to the face, or whatever it is I'm illustrating. Or like here around the eye, the striations around the eye is going to be kind of in a circular motion around it. How long does it take for the ink to dry? Fortunately with this, fairly quickly. I do try to be careful to make sure there's no smudging. Don't often get smudging. Let's see, this R21 is the wrong shade to start off with here. Let's try not the R21, the Y21. I'm going to start with the Y00 instead for a much paler, there we go, much paler look. So I can use that Y21 I've done there as blend that into a shadow area underneath the hood. Did I get in trouble in school for drawing in class? Not too much. I did draw in class, but usually it would just be doodles on the sides of my, in the margin of my notebook paper for like notes. I just do random doodles. I wouldn't do full-on illustrations in class just because I didn't want to get in trouble and keep getting busted. So I would be the kind of kid that would get all my classwork done or homework done early so that I could then spend the leftover time drawing uninhibited. Like my teachers, they couldn't really say anything about it because I'd already gotten all my classwork done and I got pretty good grades. So they knew that I wasn't just like phoning it in. So it afforded me the time that I wanted to draw without getting in trouble. Of course, getting to take art classes my junior and senior year was awesome. So I got to have 2 semesters, my junior year and senior year of art. So I got to do a lot of drawing in that class, which was, of course, my favorite class of the day, with a great art teacher. It was really, really cool and really nice. Let's see, I'm going to need my gray Copics as well. So people often ask about my Copic collection. Here are all my colors. And then I have a separate wallet for the grays. And if you want to know exactly which colors are in my collection, go to copiccolor.com. That's COPICCOLOR, copiccolor.com/Todd Nauck. And you can see all my Copic markers in my collection. Now coming in with some warm gray here. To start to bring in some shadows. They're using warm gray because yellow is a warmer color. So using a warm 3 here initially for the heaviest shadows starting off. Heavier shadows on this side because of how much his hood, his cowl, is covering his face. Let's power down to a warm 1. Has coloring been hard for me to do? Sure, yes. Yes, it has. But just a lot of trial and error. I'm a big proponent of trial and error because you're going to learn something if you have the attitude to actually, learn from your mistakes, which I have done. Learn from my mistakes, still learn from my mistakes. See, come back over this with that same Y00. Oh, well, thank you for the kind words, Jonas. I'm glad you're never bored watching me. How do I know what to draw for an issue? A writer does write a script, yes. I work with a writer for the comics, so they will write up a script, and I will then translate that written story into a visual story, which is a lot of fun. All right, let's move into coloring his cowl up here. So I'm going to bust into some oranges. Right now we're going to do a base of the YR68. Who's my favorite writer to work with and why? I've gotten to work with a lot of great writers, as I've mentioned in other Periscope broadcasts. For those that have heard my answer to this question in the past, but I'll more than happy to answer it again. I've gotten to work with a lot of great writers. And they've all become friends to one degree or another. The writers that I've worked with, like on a monthly comic, like as early as Eric Stevenson to Jay Torres, Chris Claremont on Nightcrawler, which was a huge honor, being a Chris Claremont fan when I was since I was a teenager. But the writer I've worked with the most frequently, or worked with the most, with the most frequency, is Peter David on Young Justice and Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. So I've worked with him for a total of about 6 years of my career, which is probably at least a quarter of my career. Actually, more than a quarter of my career. So he's the one I've worked with the most, and have really just had so much fun doing Young Justice with him and Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. So, like I like working with all the different writers I've worked with, but there's just a spark with me and Peter getting to work together for so long. We did 5 years on Young Justice, so you really develop a rapport over that much time together. So, thanks for the question. Have I ever drawn outside the lines? Sure. Going outside the lines happens. How do I market my social media account? I'm not sure if I know what you mean by that. I just post on my social media accounts. I just post normally. I don't know if I really market it so much. Have I ever heard Peter's Kermit the Frog impression? No, I haven't. I have not. I'll have to ask him about that when we're in Des Moines in a few weeks. Have I ever drawn Spidey 2099? I've drawn a commission of Spidey 2099 on a couple of occasions. I certainly have. Okay, I'm going to come in with a darker shade of orange here for the inside of his hood. This is the YR27. Have I seen Civil War already? Yes, I got to go to the world premiere. I really enjoyed the movie. Can't wait to see it again. Got to see it in LA a couple of weeks ago. Did I look up to any artists when I was younger? Yes, I did. Actually, I answered that question earlier in the broadcast. Maybe you weren't here for that then, so welcome now. Different artists from the 1980s X-Men comics. Like Arthur Adams, Rick Leonardi, Walter Simonson, and Alan Davis are some of my earliest influences and inspirations. Did I meet any Civil War actors? I didn't get to meet any of the Civil War actors, but I did see them, walked past them and stuff. But they were deep in conversation, and I didn't want to interrupt. Also saw the actors from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Daredevil, and a handful of comic creators. And I even saw Stan Lee walk by too. All right, now we're going to switch to a lighter shade of orange. I'm going to try the YR16 here for a bit. For some initial blending, I'm going to go even lighter than this. How similar are Copics to watercolors? They're pretty different in my opinion, from my experience. So I would say Copics are the most blendable of markers I've worked with. I can blend colors, and the inks will blend with each other. But watercolors is its own animal. It's going to do what it wants to do, where you have more control with a Copic marker with the color. Ever draw Spawn? Yes, I have drawn Spawn before. And then a lighter shade of orange, a YR12 here. You ran into George Carlin back in the day. That's cool. Favorite character to draw? I'd like drawing lots of different characters for different reasons. Mostly X-Men characters are some of my favorites, but I like drawing Marvel and DC superheroes and villains. Who's my favorite villain? I'd probably say Apocalypse from the X-Men. And Mr. Sinister. I like Mr. Sinister a lot as well. And over at DC, I'd probably say Darkseid and Despero. Huh. Booster Gold and Kitty Pryde. I can save only one. Who would it be? I wouldn't need to. They can save themselves. They're superheroes. Do I ever play video games? Sometimes. I use that same light shade of yellow here for his teeth, so they're nice and dingy looking. And then put some more cool warm gray in here to mute them out a little bit. Am I excited for the next convention center I'm not sure if I caught your question. I'm sorry. Am I excited for X-Men Apocalypse? I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, definitely. Have I ever drawn any horror characters? I don't recall if I have. I'm going to say probably not. Probably not. At least nothing that comes off my head. See, what's the weirdest commission I've done? A very unique commission I've done was when at Emerald City Comic Con, someone requested Green Lantern Spider-Man. So I drew Spider-Man as a Green Lantern. That was pretty cool. That was pretty unique. And I got a lot of great response from people on my social networks when I posted it, because it was so unexpected and so unique. You're going to go see the Civil War tonight. How much popcorn should you buy? How much can you afford to eat? I'm going to leave that decision in your hands. I try not to ever advise a person on how much popcorn they should buy. I just don't want that kind of responsibility on my head, you know? Have I ever drawn Xenomorph? I do not believe I have, no. If you weren't an artist, what other career would you choose? We have actually had this conversation at some Periscopes I did a while back. It's been a while since we've discussed this. So it's not an uncommon question. Not sure if any of our classic Periscope viewers are here and remember what two careers I had said I'd wanted to try if I was not drawing comics. Sitcom dad, yes. More specifically, Disney sitcom dad, Disney Channel sitcom dad. That's right. And the other one, does anyone remember the other career choice if I wasn't drawing comics? Game show host, yes. Reality TV game show host, like a Survivor or Amazing Race type of game show host. Yes, that is correct. Good job, gang. Good job paying attention, remembering. What board am I using? This is actually a acid-free comic book backing board. They work great. Now I'm working on the textured side, not the glossy side. Do not use the glossy side. That will be a mess with your Copics. Have you ever considered submitting and writing my own Kitty Pryde book? I have thought about that. My Disney sitcom would be called Tough Knocks. Yeah, we've also suggested hard knocks, don't knock it till you try it, and pretty much every other knock pun you can think of. So, yeah, you're right in the zone there. Yes, Keymeister, you are a classic Periscope viewer of my Periscope broadcast. Yes, you are. And I appreciate the support. I appreciate everyone's support. Whether you've been a longtime viewer or you're brand new to my Periscope broadcast / YouTube channel, glad to have you here. Hope you're having a good time. Let's see, let's get some warm gray up in this hood. So again, I'm continuing to use the warm gray. I'm using a darker warm gray on this darker orange for the shadows. Warm gray because orange is a warm color. Whoa, a lot of comments and questions went there. Let's see if I can catch some. Have I ever drawn any of the heroes from Hire? Sure, I've drawn Power Man, I've drawn Iron Fist. Pretty much just Power Man and Iron Fist. Pretty much the two of the most popular heroes for Hire. I guess Luke Cage, aka Power Man, is the first hero for Hire, since he used to be Luke Cage Hero for Hire. Oh, welcome back, Looney Doodle. Glad you're here. Good to hear you've been drawing. Keep it up. Have I ever drawn Misty Knight? I don't think I have. I can't recall having drawn Misty Knight. I might have drawn her in the Luke Cage story I did for the assistant editor's 2-issue special about 3 or 4 years ago. Misty Knight, I wouldn't be surprised if Misty Knight had a one-panel appearance in that story I did, written by comedian Wyatt Cenac. Hopefully I'm pronouncing his name right there. Used to be a correspondent on The Daily Show. He might still be a correspondent on The Daily Show. I don't know. I don't have cable. Imagine if I had a horse for a hand. Well, that would really make my Disney sitcom much more interesting. What would we call that? The dad with a horse for a hand? And I have to hide my horse hand so that I don't lose my job, and my pesky neighbors are always spying on me and trying to out me for a man with a horse on my hand for a hand. And then I come to learn that it doesn't matter what I have for a hand, it's who I am on the inside that counts. And we have the big ah moment, and then me and my made-for-TV family hug, and then the end credits roll. Is that what you're talking about? When am I going to do more Wild Guard? Hopefully in the not-too-distant future. I got a little something I'm trying to work on whenever I have breaks in my regular work deadlines. Stay tuned later this year. In the not-too-distant future, I like that. I like that a lot. Has a bit of that Mystery Science Theater vibe to it. The opening song to Mystery Science Theater. Okay, let's see. Let's get some cool gray in on the bodysuit here, because blue is a cooler color. So I'm using some cool gray there. Let's get a little cool gray here in the shadows of the mouth. Create that depth that I like so much. How do you decide what hero or villain to draw when sketching? It just depends on what interests me, what I think would be fun. Saw someone say that I keep missing their question. Yes, I'm sorry if I've missed your question. A lot of questions are cycling through, and a lot of my focus is going into the art here. So I appreciate you posting. Fortunately, as I said at the top of the show, I'm not able to catch everyone's question, or am I able to answer everyone's question, but I do appreciate you posting, and hopefully it works out that I get a chance to catch your question. No promise I can answer it, but hopefully I can at least catch it and see if I can answer it. But unfortunately, I'm not able to answer everyone's question, or a majority of the questions, but I do appreciate people posting them. I'm excited for the new convention center in San Diego. This is news to me. I'm hearing it here for the first time, so I do not know. I do not know what's going on. I've got to research that when I'm done here, find out what's happening in San Diego. Obviously, they're getting a new convention center. But what's that going to mean for the San Diego Comic Book Convention? Are they going to rebuild it a bit at a time, or are they going to do it all at once? That means San Diego would have to take off a year or move to another location for that year. I don't know. So many questions now. So many questions I have about the new San Diego Convention Center, if I'm understanding correctly. Do I offer paid lessons or tutorials online? Swing by youtube.com/Todd Nauck, and you can watch my tutorial videos for no charge. The worst you'd have to pay is looking at an ad for 30 seconds. How's that for a bargain? I'm sorry, this is R24 for the base of the eyes, and I came in with some YR68, and now I'm coming in with some R27 right now for a little darker shade. But usually I use an R24 for my base reds, like on a Spider-Man or a Deadpool. Then I come in with the R27. Two of my favorite shades of red. I won't be at Salt Lake Comic Con this year. Had a great time when I was there last year when they invited me, and I hope they'll invite me back again someday. I'd be more than happy to come back again. This is a little R56 for some darker shade. What happens if Spider-Man and Doc Ock switch roles for a year? I think that's called Superior Spider-Man. Coming back to a little R24. Gonna beef up these oranges again. Really liking how the eyes are turning out here. First time I've done this with a Hobgoblin sketch, then a lighter shade of orange right up through there. Still want to go warmer with the shadows here under the hood. Draw any Star Wars characters? Sure, I've done a couple of variant covers I did a variant cover for Vader Down starring R2-D2 and C-3PO, and I did a variant cover for the C-3PO one-shot. And I've done some Star Wars character commissions as well, which you might have seen on my different social networks. Okay, let's come in with a little neutral gray. I've started to kind of mix my grays for different effects. So just cutting it with a little neutral here for a little bit of a different shade of shadow. Kind of blend in with the warm gray. So it really helps kind of create that depth. You really get a sense of his cowl hanging over his face. And how I put this shadow right there across the bridge of his nose really helps give that sense of overhang. So which grays did I blend just now? I added some more warm 4. I came in with some neutral 4, and now I'm coming in with some warm 1. Do I mentor? No, I don't. I'm not able to mentor at this time. This is some warm 4 here. Have you ever drawn the Hulk? Yes. I don't understand what you're saying there about if I don't mentor. Think about drawing your own version of Hobgoblin. Very good. Go for it. Have fun. Have fun. I hope this illustration inspires you to do your own take. If I had to redesign Spider-Man, how would I do it? You know, just start sketching out different ideas, cutting some different lines and details and stuff, and see kind of what comes about. Okay, I'm gonna drop in a little cool gray here in the teeth. Don't feel that the teeth are popping as much as I'd like. Yeah, get some darker shadows in those back teeth, so I'm going to switch to the cool 3. There we go. That's what I'm needing. Just needing some cool gray so that the teeth pop from his skin tone. But I do need to color his gums right here. So I watched The Flash. I'm way behind on The Flash. I'm still on season 1. My wife and I are way behind. All right, so let's start getting a bit of a background shape going here. So I'm using my trusty rusty triangle and a black Copic marker, the 100 black. Could I draw a 911 tribute piece for the 15th anniversary? It's possible. It's possible. We'll see how things look later on this year. It's hard to believe that was all 15 years ago. Feels like it was just yesterday. When I catch up on Flash, I should draw Zoom. Professor Zoom's on the Flash? I already knew that. Jokes. Have I ever met John Romita Sr. or Jr.? I have not. My wife has, but I have not. Can you believe that? I'd love to meet those guys. They are legends. Love their art too. Is my wife an artist too? No, she is not. She is not. But she is at almost every convention I'm at. She runs the tables. She handles art sales. She handles crowd control. She handles security. She handles craft services. She handles just about everything. She is awesome. So if you've met me at a convention, you might have seen her at the table as well. Did I ever run into Joe Kubert before he passed? No, unfortunately, I did not. I never had a chance to meet Joe Kubert. And I broke into the business shortly after Jack Kirby had passed, back in 1994. So I never had a chance to meet him either. All right, we're on the downhill slope here. Let's now get my Uniball Signo white gel pen. I get at jetpens.com. Put a little highlight here in his eyes. Look at that. You just put a little white on there and then cacao. And just cut some texture here. Through the black. If you sent your comic book to me, would I read it? You can hand one off to me if we're ever at the same convention. That would probably work better, and I'll do my best to read it. I can't promise that I can read it, but I'll do my best to try to give it a look-see. I have a lot of people who hand off their creator-owned comics to me at conventions, much like I did back when I was breaking in or new to the industry. Have I ever messed up on the last part and had to start over? Yep, sure have. I have. It's frustrating, but, you know, it happens. All right, let me put my autograph on this, and this piece is done. What is today? Today is the 3rd. There we go. Hobgoblin. Let's flip around and I'll sign off and see if I can answer just a couple more questions before we close out for the night. Hey, there we go. Hey, gang. All right. So thanks for hanging out with me. Thanks for all the kind words on my art. Let's see. Let's see. Any tips for drawing pages? That's a huge question. Just do it. Just go for it. If you want to be a comic book artist, just start drawing pages. Start telling stories visually. You're going to do cruddy pages coming out of the gate. Everyone does, because you're learning. You've got to figure it out. And for me, all I could do was just do it. Back in the 1980s, early 90s, I didn't have the resource like in the internet. Lived out in a tiny East Texas country town, so I didn't have a lot of resources for me to figure out how to do it. So I just looked at comic books and just started telling stories visually and just fought my way through it. And so you're going to make mistakes. Allow that to happen. Just keep at it. Keep cranking out pages. Keep drawing. Keep telling stories. And it'll start to hone in the more you practice. And now you have the internet, and you can find a lot of resources online to help you in that. Whether it's buying a book like How to Draw Comics, like How to Draw Comics the Marvel Way, or all those different how-to books, can be help teach you the basics. But a lot of it is just getting in there and getting your hands dirty and doing it. So good luck with your pages. Whatever watercolor, a whole series or an issue, I am doing an experiment with a short story. Hopefully I'll have more info on that later this summer. Who's my favorite Spider-Man actor? I can answer that question better come this Friday. May the 4th be with me tomorrow. That's right, tomorrow is May 4th. Thank you. Maybe I'll have to do a Star Wars post-it for my for May the 4th. So stay tuned to my social networks. See what's coming out. More posted drawings, please? Hey, I hope to have more coming. I have been doing more of recent, so be sure to check out my Instagram or Twitter. Will I be posting more post-it sketches to YouTube? I hope to. Right now I got more. Most of them are these Periscope broadcasts that will be going up to YouTube. Can I do a video on the colored cardstock that you gave me you gave those to me at New York Comic Con? It's a possibility. No plans right now, but it's something I'll keep in mind for the future. And if it ever works out, I'll give it a go. Actually, there's a Rogue one. I did do a Rogue Periscope. She'll go up on my YouTube channel in the coming weeks. I think I did at least the colors. It's a Rogue on a green piece of the cardstock you gave me. So I have done it before as a Periscope broadcast, and you will see it on YouTube in the coming weeks. What comic am I working on now? This is a great last question for the night. What comic am I working on now? I can't tell you. I wish I could. I just finished The Amazing Spider-Man in Silk. The first 2 issues are out now, and I think issue 3 is coming out here in early May. So in the next week or so, if not tomorrow, then a week from tomorrow. And that's a 4-issue miniseries. The next project I'm working on, Marvel has to announce it first, and they won't be announcing that project till, I think, June at the earliest. So we still have some time before you can learn on what I'm doing right now, but I gotta tell you, it is fun. I'm having so much fun on this story. It is crazy, the stuff we're getting to do, and the characters we're working with. So stay tuned to all my social networks. As soon as Marvel says what I'm doing, I'll be telling y'all. I'll be confirming that I am doing that book. And I can't wait for y'all to see it. It's a lot of fun. So, gang, thanks so much for watching. Thanks so much for all the great questions and comments. I'm so sorry I can't see them all when I'm drawing and answer them all, but I really appreciate y'all being so understanding and so patient with me. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for all the hearts. Thanks for inviting people to watch me here on Periscope. And for people watching on YouTube, thanks so much for watching on YouTube. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for liking my videos. Thanks for commenting on my videos. I really appreciate it. You guys are awesome, and you make what I do a whole lot more fun because I get to share it with you, and I appreciate all y'all's support. So, guys and gals, I hope you have an awesome night. Thanks here for all the comments. Thanks again here for all the hearts, and hopefully I'll see y'all again real soon. Have a great night, gang. Peace out.